right.
You know,
All right.
I'm a big guest.
You all set?
I'm all set,
That's
so
right.
you go right ahead.
Good
Sorry.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now that it is 6 p.m. on Thursday, July 6th, I'll call the Board of Selectmen's meeting to order. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first item on the agenda is the town administrator's report.
So that's kind of just a placeholder in case we need to cover anything
Sure.
else. So.
All right, so then we'll go right to new business, which is calling the special town meeting for July 31st, 2017 at 7 p.m. to be held at the Bartlett Junior Senior High School located at 52 Parkway, Webster, Mass.
Thank you. So the impetus behind holding the special town meeting is we have an issue with our library construction project. So when we had it surveyed, they surveyed only to the property lines, and if you've been out there, you'll notice that right beyond the property lines, there's a significant change in elevation. So the currently designed retaining wall is not going to work. It's going to have to be expanded, built up bigger. Or our other option is to expand the parking area by purchasing the two properties at 37 and 39 Negus Street to expand the parking area. That way we won't have to build as high of a retaining wall. So those were the two options. The Library Building Committee has recommended that we go with the second option, purchasing two parcels along Negus Street. So we'd hold a town meeting to purchase property. All real estate transactions have to be approved by town meeting. If we are going to have a special town meeting, there's a couple other items that we'd want to cover. One is a potential zoning change. This one actually might have some issues with we have to schedule a hearing with the planning board, and I'm not positive we'll be able to do that in the time frame, so that one might not happen. But also last week I talked about, last meeting, LED conversion of streetlights. In order to move forward with that, I would need to do a streetlight audit, so I'm going to propose a transfer to be done to cover the cost of that. And actually some good news on that. We got the purchase price from National Grid for the streetlights, and it was only $1. So the payback time for converting to LED would be 1.8 years. So makes a lot of sense. And then the other potential item for the warrant is, remind myself. Oh yeah, we have a town hall stabilization fund which has over $100,000 in it. We're looking to spend about $55,000 to renovate the basement. We call it the lower level because it sounds better, but if you've been in the bathrooms down there, they're really bad. So it'll renovate the bathrooms, put in carpet tiles, put in a drop ceiling, and make it more like real offices rather than the basement. Those are the items we'll cover on the warrant on Monday when we meet. So are there any questions on potential town meeting?
Just one quick question, just for people who might be wondering, to orient ourselves where that retaining wall would be. That would be behind the houses, kind of the library side of those properties on Negus Street?
Yeah. So the retaining wall would have actually been like an L shape, so it would have gone behind like the Veterans Building and then an L behind 37 and 39 Negus Street. So if we purchase those properties, we don't have to obviously put in that retaining wall along 37 and 39 Negus, and we can grade it so that the retaining wall along the back of the Veterans Home doesn't have to be as high. And there's a lot of advantages to that. When they designed the building, the sight lines for entering and exiting onto Lake Street was a big issue. So if we purchase those other properties, We'll do the ingress on Lake Street and the egress onto Negus, so it'll be much safer. It's a better flow for the parking area, and it expands downtown parking, which has been an issue.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes,
to the
go
administrator.
ahead.
Now, if we do option 2,
Yeah.
that would include any type of drainage, or would there be any lighting proposed for that area?
Yeah, it would be the standard lighting for the existing parking lot. So the lighting that's designed for the smaller lot will just be expanded to cover the.
I guess my question was, are there any other unforeseen?
Yeah. So
Problems.
to be clear, the option number 1 is roughly $500,000 to just build a much larger retaining wall and leave those 2 properties there. To purchase those other 2 properties, expand the parking lot, improve the sight lines, all those things, that's going to cost $650,000. So it is an additional cost, but the library building committee recommends that we go with option 2. Overall, it makes it a much better project, and I agree. I think it does make it a better solution for the town in the long run.
Well, if I may, Mr.
Yeah, go right
Chairman,
ahead.
that solution for those 2 parcels has been tossed around for years,
Yeah.
just as a matter of history, if you will. Even I think when they were going to even do the apartments here, but it's also been talked about even when the older structure was there for the library. It's not a bad idea. I'm just staggered with the price on the retaining wall. And then, you know, if you add the 2 properties, and I just want to make sure that, and I'm not going against, say, the library committee or anything like that. I was just, when we chatted, and thank you for the call, by the way, I just said, are you kidding me? Who's responsible for what, the oversight on that?
Yeah.
And it's like, but nobody seems to be, and I know, gentlemen, that you've been at large projects, Randy, and Selectman Becker, and I'm going, you know, it's a good chunk of change when you're talking about a wall or whatever, and I'm just going, the oversight on this is, doesn't anyone check into the bonding or what's going on? I mean, you have the contingencies, I understand all that.
Yeah.
But it just seems like, then who picks up the dollar? We do.
Yeah.
Or in this case, 10 cents on 1,000, but,
Yeah. No, that is a good point. So I've been looking into it and contacted our attorney to, see what legal recourse we may have. Yeah, I talked to the project manager today, and they said, well, is it going to cost $500,000 now, or would it cost $500,000 2 years ago? It's not like it's costing us more money because it's now. But still, there was an oversight, and we need to look into, who's responsible for it and what, remediation we may have. See if they can pick up any of the costs for it.
that's a lot of concrete, 500 grand.
It would be a very large retaining wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Through the chair, I know the size of the wall that was built for the police station,
mm-hmm.
and that was actually less expensive, I believe, than what this is, but I'm assuming someone forgot to shoot the lines, and now we're dealing with probably 400 or 500 feet on the L, the long portion of the L, and then another probably 100 feet on the short portion of the L. And that's
Yeah.
why, and if you're raising that up, whatever, 10 feet, I'm assuming that's where that money comes from. But it
Right.
was a huge shock.
Yeah.
You didn't say anything about the budget.
Yeah, I can cover that real quick. So, town meeting approved the budget at $12 million for the overall library project.
Mhm.
After the bids came in very favorably, the current construction budget is $11 million, just slightly over $11 million. That $11 million includes $1.24 million in contingencies. So the $650,000 would be covered within the $11 million that's already been budgeted for the project.
Yeah, I think, again, through the chair, the only, I think argument someone could make is that this money would have been turned back, and therefore,
Mhm.
our tax rates possibly could have gone down. And granted, they're not gonna go up because the larger amount was budgeted, but, that should at least be
Yeah. Right, so,
mentioned.
yeah, we have to do at least the $500,000 solution. So the difference between the $500,000 and the $650,000 solution is like $18 for the average taxpayer.
$18.80.
annually.
Right. Yeah. And, Mr. Chairman, just one other
Sorry.
question.
Right.
From a P&S standpoint, we shouldn't be having a town meeting without a signed P&S. I'm assuming that's being worked on.
Yeah, so we've drafted it and sent it to the owners, and their attorney has reviewed it, so the attorneys are just covering the last few items.
Thank you.
And do we have a deadline for when, if there are any citizens petitions for a town meeting warrant?
Yeah, so-
When do those need to be turned in by?
They need to be in by noon on Monday.
Oh, right. So for any citizens petitions, the deadline would be noon at Monday, and for a special town meeting, it requires 200 signatures to get an article on the special town meeting warrant.
I would just like to thank the town administrator, because this is something that, it's fluid, it happens fast, this has to happen fast, and I think it was a good idea to
Yeah.
bring it up and have the special.
And thanks for being willing to have a special selectmen meeting, so you can have a special town meeting.
So we've called the town meeting and we've officially opened the warrant.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
No, I just think, if I may, Mr. Chairman,
Absolutely.
I think a special town meeting with the folks out there can come to the town meeting, and they can have their input into this also, which I always kind of go for. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. So then I'll poll the board. If there's
Oh,
no other
yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
So Selectman Bork,
Yes.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Becker?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Anything else? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
All right. If there's no other discussion,
Yes.
we're adjourned.
Yes.